Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning. Y'all, I'm not even going to stay on here. I just jumped on because I didn't mean to sleep over. Well, my body meant to, but I didn't mean to. And so, when times when I'm not on, it's like intentional or because I've had, some technical difficulty. But I fell asleep writing this sermon. Oh my God. And so I still just wanted to, even as late as it is, I'm not getting on to do a full out sermon. You still hear the grogginess in my voice. I'm not even in my office where I usually am. I didn't even make it up to the bed, y'all. I'm in my family room. I never even made it upstairs. Never even made it upstairs. Never even made it upstairs. We got in probably about midnight, close to midnight last night from Atlanta. And a friend called us. A friend called us and needed us to be in community. And so both Derek and I stayed on the phone with that friend until about maybe close to 3 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock, about 3 o'clock in the morning. And I I wanted to talk about so when you see the Joy of Affirmation, I just put that in there. That's in there because it won't let me go live without having a title. So that's just in there. We could talk about that, but that's really just in there. And so I went to Comfy, I miss you. It's so good to see your name. I really need, you've been in my heart and my spirit. And though I have not been in touch, I have thought about you and prayed and still am praying. So I will reach out just to connect. Um, what was I telling y'all? So I wanted to have conversation. I knew what I wanted to, I knew what Spirit had given me to preach, right? And I've also just been exhausted with, I have two things coming up this week. This week I'm headlining, y'all. I'm opening up for the Wild Goose Festival. And then I leave there and head over to the um, Samuel DeWitt Proctor Institute at the Alex Haley Farm, sponsored by the Children Defense Fund. And listen, too I am not afraid, ashamed, or too big to say that I don't have the messages yet, right? I knew what I wanted what was I was being led to share about today. I knew a bit of it, which is why I was working on it to sort of kind of flush it out more. So it is exhausting to be in your mind, even though for those of you who work, whose creativity comes forth, it is exhausting to be in your mind. Um, Even though things are not out on paper, you're all day I've been waiting for a sign, waiting for a word. I'm looking up scriptures. For folks who tell you, just sit still, be quiet. God will give it to you. And I'm listening and I'm watching, listening to other people's sermons. I'm like, that was phenomenal. Like, how did they come up with that? What did they just know that text? They just tapped in and like, there are seasons I'm getting. There are seasons. Thank you, Dr. Travis Wilkins. There are seasons for those of you who are creatives in some way, of which I account ministry as that. You're some kind of artisan, if you will. There are seasons when there's nothing. Listen, I didn't think I had a word. Well, I knew but I didn't think I had a full word. There are just seasons when there is just nothing. when there are seasons when there is just nothing, y'all. Just nothing. Just nothing. It's just nothing. And the pressure, I've said this before, the pressure of creating, the pressure of Ronnie, love you, bro. The pressure of I love all y'all. The pressure of trying to create. So I'm gonna come on, spirit. I am what I love about us is no there are no airs here. There are no airs here. So I'm gonna ask y'all for help. Come on, Holy Ghost. I literally just woke up, my breath still stinking everything, y'all. I didn't even go wash my face. I woke up and said, "Oh my God." My alarm was set for 5 a.m. even though I told y'all I got off the phone at 3. I had enough that I was gonna move around and be able to bring to y'all. We were gonna work it out. I kept hitting snooze. I kept hitting snooze. I said, okay. I hit snooze until 6 a.m. Looked into turn on got back on the computer and start looking at something that I was trying to look up. Start typing. Dozed off so hard. Hit the computer. Hit the computer. Boom. Set the alarm for 7. I said, okay, I'm gonna set it for 7. I'm gonna get up. All right. Set it for 7:30. All right, I'm gonna get up. I did not turn snooze back on. I opened my eyes again. It was 8:30. 8:30, but I jumped up and just said, "Oh wow." It wasn't a rush like, "Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God." I just was like, "Oh wow." And yes, of course, I know that my body needs it. I know my body, but my mind needs it. My soul needs it. Um uh it is the exhaustion. You cannot forget the exhaustion that we take in day to day just by living in the bodies that we live in. Ashe. All of the news that we take in. Last week was hella disappointing. um, the Supreme Court rendered some decisions that, for me and my stance, were hella disappointing, and I didn't post about them. I didn't, and I'm appreciative for those who did think pieces and stuff. I just didn't. I just couldn't do it. I just was like, WTF? Like WTF or what I don't have anything to say that's not being said. I have nothing to say that is not being freaking said. What the but we carry that in our body. So when exhaustion, when rest comes to us, right? And we know the Nat Bishop has taught us this. The Nat Bishop has taught us this to resist. And yet, I'm circling back around. So I appreciate all 44 of you all who are on here with me, just listening. Because here's what I'm about to ask you. And I'm going to tell you where I was. And I'm going to get off. We're not going to the clearing. I'm going to get off. I'm going to go back to sleep. I'm going to go, right. That's what I'm going to do. Um, I need help. The message for the Proctor Institute, the theme is freedom, faith at 50. Freedom, faith at 50. Freedom, faith taken from the words of the Reverend Dr. Prathia Hall, one of the founders of SNCC, womanist ethicist, originally from Philadelphia. Went to Temple, I believe, and left there and went down south to join the movement. Left the north to go down south to join the movement to fight. Sound like some Ronnie Galvin stuff to me. Ashe. Left. And she was worked with Marion Wright Edelman, who was the founder of the Children's Defense Fund, and Dr. Prathia Hall ran the Black Church it's either Black Church or Black Faith Initiative. You are correct. She is the originator of the that rhetorical device. I have a dream. She preached a sermon a few days before, and it was either in Dr. Martin Luther King's hearing or someone told him about it. And he used that refrain, I have a dream, and some of what she said in her sermon and for the speech, I Have a Dream. And so and the Children's Defense Fund is led by now, handpicked, no other greater person that I can think of than our dear brother, the Reverend Doctor, our dear brother in the struggle for justice for our people, and especially justice for our children, the Reverend Dr. Starsky Wilson. And so I am headed there on, I'll be there, not this week but next week, and there are some great phenomenal people. Courtney Pace, who is the biographer or has written the only full-length biography for Dr. Prathia Hall, will be there. I shouldn't have started naming names, but a lot of folk will be there because the Institute is a training and a re-up, if you will, for those who are child advocates. And so every evening they have great preachers. And they, this year, it is, I am standing alongside the Reverend Raquel Gill, who, man, if y'all have never heard Reverend Raquel Gill preach, my God, today. It's also, come on and help me, Dr. Travis. You know where I'm going. Yay! Sheesh. I like it. I like it. This is where I'm going. I'm about to ask y'all. I like it. Reverend Raquel Gill, the Reverends Gabby and Andrew Wilkes, myself, and it ends with the Reverend Dr. Gina Stewart. Now here I am in between. Now this is not a pity party, and this is not a sort of self-aggrandizing or like a self-loathing, like, and oh, and I don't feel worthy. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying I'm not worthy. I'm not saying I'm saying yes, Ashe. I am glad to stand beside these. They're called great preachers. That's what they're called on the thing. I need y'all because I've been listening. I've been listening. I've been listening. I've been getting up, quiet time, taking walks. I've been thinking on drives. I've been thinking in the midst of chaos and noise. And listen, I can't hear nobody praying. I need a text. I need a text. I got some things that I want to say, and how we've been trained to teach you in preaching is you gotta get the scripture. You gotta get the scripture first, because you can't make what you want to say fit the scripture. So many of us do that, and that is why so many of us proof text, I say. But even in that proof texting, why so many of us eisegete, or we read into the text. And so there's something that is coming up for me, but I don't have a text. So even what I just said to you, right? Even what I just shared with you, and how we are trained, how we as homileticians are trained to teach preaching and to teach you how to preach. I am also coming into, and I have been coming into for some years, and I just really appreciate all 56 of y'all being on here for what is not, I just appreciate you. I feel so, I feel so much gratitude in my heart right now. I feel gratitude. I feel gratitude, and I feel gratitude for my ability to be authentic. To be authentic and to be vulnerable and to defy the notions that me as a preacher, as a visible preacher, has to have it, that I can come to you in my vulnerability and say I don't have it, and to ask y'all for help. I love you, Irie. My sister Irie is all the way in Panama, and I love you. And listen, only reason why I didn't put it in one of my group chats, because one of my other sisters had already asked us to think about a scripture, and I was like, well, I ain't gonna overload us. Let me come. So listen, I need a text, and Dr. Travis Wilson, wait, Dr. Travis, I want to make sure I said your last name right. We're Wilkins. Thank you. I'm thanking you right now. So I want some of y'all to do what Dr. Travis is doing. Dr. Travis is just dropping texts that are coming to mind. And for real, y'all, if I could tell the truth about it, come on. Y'all must be sharing this live because the numbers keep growing. Y'all must be. Listen, the truth about it is, I think, y'all know I've developing this theory about stretching the kink about the two-ness of preaching as an African-centered womanist preacher. Here's what's coming to me. This is not about, because I'm waiting for y'all, for I told you I don't have a text. But I gave y'all the theme, and no, there's not a conference theme. There's not. I mean, there's not a conference scripture. The theme is freedom, faith. Freedom, faith at 50. And remember, Children's Defense Fund is about advocating and listening for children. And I raise womanish girls. So I have some thoughts. I'm just looking for a text. Because here's the other thing I want to share with y'all. I'm almost like, can I be honest in the words of Dr. Danny Bahuro, or my good friend Dr. Danny Bahuro say, can I have a moment? Can I be vulnerable here? I love when she says that. Can I have a moment? Can I be vulnerable here? I'm on a super cusp of, let me tell you what my real issue is. I didn't even want to, it's not a biblical text that came to me. It's the temple of hip hop foundational of the temple of him, the principles of the temple of hip hop. I think there are 50 that Minister Server presented to us in our acknowledgement of the 50 years of hip hop at the One Love Festival 2 weeks ago. And I wanted to be in conversation with this 50 years, right? This idea of 50 and Jubilee, but that in 50 years of hip hop, as we celebrate 50 years of hip hop that was created by young folk, Ashe, that was a response to impoverished conditions, how those young people became, how young people have always been, right, the moral compass for society, that in at least our movements for justice in every country, right? Not just the United States, but every country, but at least here in the United States, have become the moral compass. And so how at the same time that Reverend Dr. Prathia Hall is coming up with the, identifies this theme of freedom, faith, that at the same time, those who are beyond the doors of the church have created ecclesia, if you will. There's if there is a hip hop ecclesiology, if you will, have created community, beginning in Bronx, New York, and sort of expanding forth. So there is a way that I want to join them. I want to join, and there are these, just like the Black Panther Party has the 10-point program in the Temple of Hip Hop. For those of you who are hip hop heads, and come on, y'all. Woo! I'm coming back to this live, and I'm getting every one of these texts. So that was my thing. Like, I'm not even about to preach, because also the Children's Defense Fund is not Christian. Hello, somebody. Hello. It is an interfaith movement. Come on, Healing Griot. Woo, y'all are blessing me. Okay, thank you. All right, so y'all keep it running for that. So y'all got a running tab on Hip Hop Theology Been Preaching. Yes, come on, hit me with some text. Yeah, so that's where I want to go. I want to go there. And I want to center, because y'all know, hey, Dr. Chandra, y'all know I'm an autoethnographer, which means, ethnographers observe culture, observe the people. As an autoethnographer, it means that instead of me observing the people, that my own data, my own story is the data. That I turn the observation within. And so yes, I will be centering myself as a Generation X, as one who grew up. I remember in 1978, where we used to go to wait on the radio for Rapper's Delight to come on. I remember being at the playground in summer lunch programs, and then you all came up through summer school, through the summer camp at the playground. When so anyway, so we're there with that. Okay, all right, I got y'all. Thank y'all. Y'all are helping me. Ooh, thank you. Yes, I'm very familiar with fourth wave womanist. Actually, I believe that Dr. Reverend Ebony Janice Moore sent me a book, and it might be in my mail. I haven't been to my mailbox, so it may be in there. So that's where I'm trying to go. Okay, so that's one. So now let's walk back to the Wild Goose Festival. Any of y'all familiar with the Wild Goose Festival? If you're not, go ahead and Google it right quick. Spirit, I want to thank you right now. Whitney, I hope you're still on here. Please, if you're still on here, just let me know you're still on here because I got something to say. So just let me know you're still on here, please. Come on, Key. Yeah. Yeah, I can't. Yes. Okay, Monica, my girl, Dr. Monica's on here. So let's talk about Wild Goose. So Wild Goose is before I go. So Wild Goose is on this coming Thursday. I'm opening what they call the Goose, and then Saturday, y'all, they want me to come back and talk. Just they're like whatever you want to talk about. I appreciate Jeff, the founder, and I want to also be upfront about this. I don't know, but Whit may have gotten off, but and I also want to be upfront about this. So, I struggle, and if there are any Wild Goose attendees on here, listen, I'm telling my truth, Ashe. Um, I struggle because according what I've been told is that the Wild Goose does not provide honorarium. So I knew that last year I went no honorarium, but the connections that I made were very powerful. Some opportunities that came as a result were very powerful. This year, with the ask being for me to open, and the opener last year was Dr. William Barber. And here's the thing, some of you might be saying, why is she talking about all this? Because we need to talk about these things, Ashe. Yep, some of these things. And some of you all be like, but you need to talk about it in private. Nope, I'm talking about it with you because some of you all have questions. And the only way this information gets out is if we talk about it. And that's that, period. So, to what I've been told is that Wild Goose doesn't pay anyone. No one gets paid. Like no opener, no closer, no one gets an honorarium. And I struggled with that last week, particularly in light of all of the just last week in my body, the labor as a Black woman that I was being asked to do across several platforms was troubling to me. And I was like, you want me to open on Thursday and then come back and do something Saturday, and like there's no remuneration, like zero, like what my gift is make it connects, like I mean, okay, but wow. And then I went back, right, and I'm not telling you I'm totally okay with that because there's something in me that still feels like this kind of labor just doesn't, it don't feel good, it doesn't. And the Wild Goose, but I like what the Wild Goose stands for. The Wild Goose to me is like a faith Woodstock for white liberal people. It's a faith Woodstock for white liberal people and Black folks who rock with white liberal people. For it is also affirming for LGBT plus people. And come on, Candace Lewis, I done already asked the question. Dr. Candace. And so it is a co-creator. So that means that any of you on here could speak at the Wild Goose. You can speak at the Wild Goose. Any of you on here could speak at Wild Goose. Meaning you would be co-creating. While you could say, hey, I want to come talk about, community building, and I want to come talk about that. And then you could co-create your session. If you have a podcast, you bring it to Wild Goose. They camp out on the, but it's about $350 to register. and then you pay extra if you are going to camp out there. And so there are funds coming in, and I imagine some of those funds or most of them are going toward the renting of the farm. And then I guess the systems that you have to put in place for this is just me imagining. This is just me imagining the systems that you have to put in place for I don't know, to hold 2,000 people, you know, the porta potties, the golf carts, the tents for the vendors, the but everybody who's doing that like is paying for their own, right? So I I've been talking to Jeff, who's the founder, and Jeff is a good person, and Jeff is doing good work, and I appreciate whatever Jeff sees in me, that he believes I have to share with Wild Goose and the community. But I guess I'm also saying it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. This is a lot. And so shout out, let me just pause because I've said a lot. Let me pause. Because this is not, I don't have to qualify, but I'm about to. This is not a throw wild bus under the bus. There has been a contingency of black men who have raised this concern. Which concern, Indira? Tell me which concern, raised which concern. Um, there's something about it for me that doesn't feel okay with laboring and not being compensated. Help me out, y'all. So does that mean I'm capitalist? Help for real. This I'm not. This is these are not rhetorical. We are really talking. We are really having a community conversation this morning. I mean, there's it's so much so that it's making me like thick in my throat. There's something about. And so then I was like, y'all didn't pay William Barber? This what you telling me? That William Barber rolled up through here and y'all ain't pay him? But then I thought William Barber also has a MacArthur Genius Award. That's 650,000. William Barber also, has the appointment at Yale now. And I guess, and I'm gonna talk this. So I started here to say that I needed something to talk about at the Wild Goose, but I think I just found it. I think I just found it. Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Monica. Yep. Ashe. Ashe. Yes, Dr. Candace, speaking and preaching isn't work for, yeah, because here's the other thing. Come on, Dr. Candace. Hey. Whew. I was just over here sitting like, girl, is it about the money? I preach free every Sunday. It's called Pink Robe Chronicles. I'm not on salary. And if I didn't teach at Wake, I would be living off of some of your kindness or at your whim, at your ability to offer for those of you who do. So let me release myself of thinking that I don't do enough. There's no paywall. There probably should be, but there's not yet anyway. So yes, President Sims, that black folk labor for free all the time in church spaces that are very selective about whom they compensate. Yeah, I'm feeling away. Listen, I am feeling away so much so it's in my chest. I'm feeling away. Hey, God, I'm feeling away that I'm going to get up here in front of some of our well-meaning white siblings and black folk, that I'm going to stand, that I should feel like this is a privilege. Ashe, come on, help me get through this. Ancestors and great mothers, that what I'm wrestling with is this idea that it is a privilege, that I should feel privileged to be identified and acknowledged, that a body of folk see me, and that I should feel so privileged that I should just be able to labor and disregard what is needed for me to live and to survive. Yes, Comfy. Yeah. So Katoya, the go is a yes for me because I have to have this conversation. Yeah. The go is a yes because I have to have this conversation. It's a yes for me because I have to go tell you. Darlene says, I've been in this conversation, and for me, it is a space where you choose to offer labor and service, to work that holds meaning for you versus the spaces that have the resources to offer an honorarium. It reminds me of the spaces where the tiers and levels vary according to what individuals are able to pay. In this instance, folks may choose to make an exception. Yes and no, because here's yes and no to that, Darlene. And remember, y'all, Wild Goose is just a placeholder. This is a larger conversation, okay? I love that question. Does it feel like it's a seed to sow? That question makes me weepy. Because black women are always sowing seeds. I can't answer that separate from, that kind of that practice and how many more seeds do I have to sow? How many more seeds do I have to sow? I'm not in a financially comfortable place. Meaning I live from check to check like everybody else. Like most middle class ideal folk. I've sown enough seeds to have enough reciprocity. That if I don't sow another seed, like y'all, you get what I'm saying? Like, how many more seeds do I have to sow? And yeah, wild goose is good ground to sow, but as a black woman, how many seeds do I have to sow to be on display to come tell you about yourself? So maybe I think a bigger question is, can you afford? Here's the question: can you afford to go? That's the question. Can you? And Monica's point is right. So maybe for you, you're saying this the last one. Can you afford to go? That's the question. Can you afford, and I'm asking some of you, can you afford to take assignments and not be compensated? Whether that is in real time, like funds, or some kind of barter. I mean, yeah. And because of the society we live in, whether we want the what whether we acknowledge and critique capitalism, or some of us who are full capitalists on here, that has to be where we begin, because of the way that our society is run. And maybe that's really what is at the heart, y'all, of maybe that's really at the heart. Maybe that's really at the heart. That's right, Monica. That is right. And yet I still want to center. I don't even want to get to even if I can afford it. Because it's that big part of those of us, help me, Spirit. There are those of us who do this work. And Dr. Angela Sims is right, for whom not just the church, but these systems choose whom they will compensate. They make a choice about who and how they will compensate. And I guess I'm saying that I am not in a position right now, nor do I desire to be right now, but right now it's my circumstance. I am not in a position right now to do favors, to sow seeds, in return for, I'm not in that position. I don't have the space. I don't have the bandwidth. I don't have the I don't have it. That's the word, Jamie. I don't have it. I don't have it. No, I don't have it. I don't have it. And here's my other thing, here's my other thing, and I'm gonna go back to what I said. Then my third thing was telling you where I was and then getting off. Um, my spouse and I just finished the One Love Festival. We are a festival in its infancy. This was our third year. We took these last 2 weeks to just say la. Now we are about to get up and running and planning for year 4. Those dates are June 27th through 29th. 2024 here in Winston-Salem. June 27th through 29th. I need you all to pull up. Pull up how you pull up to Essence. Pull up how you pull up to One Music Fest. Pull up how you pull up to Afropunk. And pull up how you pull up to Wild Goose. Pull up. This is a festival that centers and celebrates African diaspora culture and history through art, through music, entrepreneurship, and wellness and innovation. Our goal is to inspire and to educate. We have a kickoff that is on Thursday, and this year we kicked off with international visual artist Andrew Bar Metwire and Minister Server as our commemoration to hip hop. On Saturday are our artistic soul conversations. That conversation and that kickoff are free to the public. It is our sowing of a seed into the community, Ashe, where we bring folk innovators and entrepreneurs into the community to speak with it is a multi-generational conversation. For that conversation this year, just follow me because I'm going somewhere. For that conversation, this year, we had State Representative Amber Baker, former Commissioner Fleming Alameen, former Commissioner Everett Witherspoon, Reverend Ramal Toon, author of I Wish My Dad, Minister Ashley Thomas of Soul Harmony and Body Practitioner, Brother Derek Young, MBA, and myself. This movement was so powerful. And then we had 2 nights. Listen to me. Just hear me out for a second, second because I'm going somewhere. And then we had 2 nights of ticketed events. And let me just say to you, and Dr. Chelsea Green is on here, and I'm not putting her on the spot, but I want to let you know the caliber. And this is not I'm not coming for, backyard festivals. But this is not that, Ashe. The caliber of artisans that we are bringing to Winston-Salem, but to the festival. So for 2 nights, we have arts and entertainment ticketed events. On Saturday night, our own, PRC's own, I was going to say Reverend Dr. Chelsea, the Dr. Chelsea Green and the Green Project. If you have never heard Chelsea Green or you are not familiar with the Green Project, Dr. Chelsea Green is performed at places like the Capitol Jazz Festival. Dr. Chelsea Green is the vice chair of the trustee board of the Recording Academy. That's the Grammys, y'all. This is the caliber of folk that we bring in to the one that we brought, not bringing, that we brought to the One Love Festival. We had Lions Track, the reggae band. We had some up and coming artists, Browns and Naya Janae out of Charlotte. We had Ciroc. For those of you who are hip hop heads and you love independent hip hop, conscious hip hop, Sister Ciroc, SA-ROC is the truth. Woo, my God, that sister flows. We had Ciroc. We had another up and coming Sister V Star, one of our Hispanic siblings, as we continue to build those bridges and to mend. We also had a Grammy nominated independent king of independent R&B, none other than Howard alum Eric Roberson. Y'all love that song Lessons, the remix with Eric Roberson, Anthony Hamilton, and Kevin Ross. We had him. Yes, and we had me. I was moderating it and having church in between. All of this was happening at the One Love Festival. Why am I telling you this? I'm telling you because while our festival is still growing, I know as an event producer now, as a producer of a festival, I know what it costs, what you need to pay. I know what the backline is. I know what is required. And guess what? There was not one person, not one of those names that I mentioned that did not get paid. Now that's that on that. Now that's that on that. Not one. Why? Because I believe, because Black labor to me is holy. It is not okay. And we did not pay even on our artists. Now, if somebody gave us because they love us and they love what we're doing and say, hey, here's our price for you. But we didn't go to people asking for discounts. We didn't go and say, hey, give us the hookup. But that's not what happened. We said, what's your price? Yeah. What's your price? Matter of fact, not only what is your price, what is your all for those who are artists? What is your all in buyout? You know what a buyout is? That means we're going to give you a certain amount of money and you're going to get your own flight. You're going to get your hotel. You're going to get we're going to do your transport and some hospitality, and you're going to get your food. And for those artists who we didn't do a buyout for, that means that we had to pay for you to get here, pay for your lodging, pay your fee, pay your food, pay for hospitality, make sure we had what you needed in your rider. And for our panelists, listen, that now the honorarium they received was extremely modest, y'all. It was extremely modest. I mean, extremely. But for me, it was the gesture. It was the gesture of saying, I know you don't have to be here. I know that there's somewhere else you could be. And for those who were in public service, because don't try to snag us on this, that we couldn't give an honorarium to, we gifted them a stay in the hotel for the weekend so that they could have a staycation. Yeah. So that there could be a staycation. And so my whole what I'm saying is I can't rock with that. I can't rock with it. That's in my I can't rock with it. Because even as an infant festival, yeah, yeah. Eh, which is why I'm saying I know what the cost is. I know what you gotta pay. I know. Even in my infant in our festival, our budget, our initial budget was $350,000 over 2 years. No, over yeah, that was the dream big budget. We had to scale down to $250. That was the oh wow budget. Actual budget in of itself is about probably about 167. We raised about 142. So who had to fit the bill for the rest of that? We did. Because guess what? When an artist comes to you, you need to have their money. Guess when? Not like y'all make us do when we preach. Not after we done preached out, sweated out our edges, and had y'all rolling over and foaming at the mouth and got y'all all, and then you come give us a check afterwards, after we done all the labor. Come on, that's how we do at church. No, it's not how it works in the artist world, and especially not in music. You first need to make a deposit. I ain't finna do this with y'all. Yeah, yeah, yeah. First thing you need to do is make a deposit. And then you need to have the balance of that deposit. The balance of those funds need to be given either at the sound check or before. It is not when they pull up or they ain't pulling up. Somebody hears me. Somebody needs to hear me. Somebody needs to hear me. But the ways that we run in church and stuff, because it's church, or even in our social justice and our activist ways, we just assume that people have it. And if people start talking about money, the assumption is that, oh, that's all they think about is money. We can't get nobody to support over there. No, because guess what? I got 2 children. My spouse and I have 2 children. We actually have 3. Our oldest lives in St. Louis. He's 20. He'll be 20 next year or this year. We got 2 children, 2 in high school, 2 cheering. Let me just run it down to you real quick while I don't have it. 2 cheerleaders coming up in here next week. That's $1,000 a piece on uniforms and stuff. We got a Sweet 16 coming up in September. She talk about I want to listen. Even if I didn't have all of that, the point that I'm making and saying, y'all, is yes, I was struggling with the whole fact of doing this labor after I just labored at my own festival. And we're not at the place where we're breaking even. We're still at the place where we're losing money. We're still at the place where we're not making a profit. That is where we are. But we believe in what we're doing. And we believe in when we ask you to come, yes, we see your labor as holy. We're not asking for you to hook us up. We are saying that if we want to center African diaspora and culture and history, if we want to free our people, then we understand that we need to lighten the load that some of our people carry by getting them here and by paying them. That's all I want to say. That's all I want to say. That's all I want to say. God, I needed to get all of that out. I'm glad that I came up on here this morning. I'm glad that I came up here. I'm glad that I came on. So, if the question was going to be, what's my text for Wild Goose? That's right, Dr. Chelsea. This is such a big word. My thumbs can't go fast enough. And you didn't give us, but you can sell your merchandise to cover the rest. Yes. So spend more money. Spend more money and labor making. Yeah. Something else to sell or present, Dr. Melba. Lighten the load. Yep. What was your reason for saying yes? How is it going to benefit you? I read. That's a good point. I said we weren't going to the clearing, but I feel like the rest of this conversation needs to come off live. So I am making a link right now to because I got an honest answer for that question. My God, I got an honest answer for that question, and so let me just go over here and let me thank you all. For those of you who won't come over to the clearing, let me thank you in advance for when I go back and see the ways you have helped me. Let me thank you for receiving my vulnerability and my authenticity, for being a community that is strong enough to hold my truth. Thank you. I'm getting all of the messages that you all are inboxing me. Thank you. I thank you. I thank you from really the top of my heart, from the middle of my heart. Come on, hold on. I'm thanking you. Cancel. Hold on. I thank you. Let me put this here. So for if you have it over on YouTube and over on I just put it in YouTube and on Facebook. So for those of you who can, I know a lot of you may not be able to, but for those that come on, Ronnie Gavin, for those of you who can, I'm inviting you. I just dropped a link. I'm inviting you to come over to this Zoom, and I see y'all coming in already. So I'm about to end this, but before I do end this, before I do end it, let me just say, hold that thought because I'm going to continue it over in the Zoom. I, Let me just say publicly, I want to congratulate other PRC community members. I want to congratulate all of the folks who were ordained. It's in the chat, y'all. The passcode is in the chat. Just go back. I literally just dropped it. Just go back up and look. I want to I'll do it one more time. I'm literally dropping it now. Okay. So if you're driving, you might not be able to get it because it will require you to stop, and it's there. It's a link. It's asking for a passcode. Oh, shoot. Hold on. All right. Hold on. No, is it? Because somebody is in here already. 4 people already entered. To the people who are in here, hold on, y'all. Miranda and or Monica, did y'all have to put in a passcode? The YouTube link doesn't seem to need a passcode. Okay. Um, hey y'all, do me this favor. I don't have the energy. Go over right now to Pink Road Chronicles on YouTube. Some of you need to go over there anyway so you can subscribe. I'm gonna stay live on YouTube. Go over to YouTube right quick and get the link off of YouTube. I can't fix it. I don't even have the bandwidth, the capacity to figure that out and to stop it somewhere. I'm gonna just tell you, I don't have it. Go over to YouTube right now. I'm still live on YouTube. Click the link that's in the YouTube. Okay, I'm gonna put it up there again. Let me go put it in the YouTube again. Okay. Okay, it must be working. I'm seeing y'all coming into the waiting room. Okay. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Monica. Ooh, y'all are helping me. Jesus Christ. I love y'all. This is what community is about, y'all. For us not to have to think, we have to have it all together and to just come naked and unashamed. Woo, woo. Mm. Okay, I'm going to open the room, but I'm going to mute y'all and you should mute yourselves. But because I'm still on live, you're going to hear that echo. I'm going to open the room so Jamie can share. Let's go. I want to admit all. And I'm going to mute all of y'all. And you should mute yourself. Okay, so for those of you that are still on Facebook, okay, y'all hold tight over here on YouTube. Y'all hold tight over here on YouTube. I mean, on Zoom. I'll be right back. I'm just making sure everybody's straight from Facebook. I'm going to put myself on mute. I'll be right back, though. Okay, Facebook. I'm jumping off. I'm headed over to the clearing. You are welcome to come with us. Thank you so much for those of you who cannot. Thank you for the ways that you supported me on today. Thank you for everything that you, all of your thoughts. I will come back to this live later today